You've kind of said in the past that time of possession isn't a stat that you're particularly concerned with, but I think you guys are leading the Pac-12 in time of possession, and I think it's 42-18 on Saturday. Is that something that you guys are emphasizing more? Is it just a byproduct of the defense and getting off the field quick this year?
I thought it was a byproduct of a couple things. I thought our defense got off the field quick. I thought that offensively, well, you could say a couple things. I think one, the University of Colorado playing very hard on defense, and then the other, the swirling wind made it difficult to move the ball, so we were able to move it up and down the field slowly. You know, they weren't big chunks and explosives, and so then, but you know, I mean, the biggest thing is we had more plays. You know, the stats I do value. We had more plays, we had more first downs, and we had a higher third down conversion. So, and I think that was one of the biggest things is our defense did very good on third down, stopping them on third down, and then we did a pretty, not a great, but pretty good job of converting on third down. We were a little over 50%. I think that allowed us to keep drives going, and then of course time ticks off. But you know, it's not one of those things like time of possession. So often those people that value time of possession, you know, they just sit, you know, they just sit behind the center and pretend they're going to tickle his ass, and maybe they are, and maybe they're not, and just wait for the clock to tick by. You see, and then, but that's nothing really football-wise. I mean, you're just pretending you're a smart football coach if you're doing that. I mean, because if what you're doing in practice has any value whatsoever, you'd probably be a little more focused on executing plays or, you know, that sort of thing. But, you know, sitting there dramatically looking around in space and going towards the center and away from the center and pretending somehow, you know, you revolutionize something smart. No, to me, it's entirely idiotic. So.
And then I think coming into the game, you guys were, I think, top 5 in the country in scoring plays of scoring drives of 10 plays or longer. How demoralizing can it be when you have a long drive like that and cap it with a touchdown, take a bunch of time off the clock, kind of in the process of doing that?
Well, you want the ball. I mean, you want to keep the ball away from them, and then, but you know, and my problem is that the time of possession doesn't always reflect that. A number of plays does. I mean, number of plays is real. A number of plays is okay. You have to play 40 plays more than we do. Well, yeah, you really had to play, you know, and you really did get hit on those additional 40 plays. You really had to run those additional 40 plays. But you know, the sustained drives, you know, I like that. I mean, because that suggests a level of consistency. That suggests that we have a level of consistency that, you know, that we're all kind of striving for, is the ability to, you know, you did it once, now you did it 3 times in a row. Can you do it, you know, if you can do it over 10, I think that's pretty good, and we got to keep getting better than that, you know.
Would you say that's a direct correlation with like avoiding negative plays is how you're able to kind of sustain drives?
I think that helps. I think avoiding negative plays. I think that, yeah, we've avoided negative plays, which I think was extremely helpful. But I do feel like that, you know, we're reasonably consistent. I thought it was, again, I thought the conditions were a little tough in Boulder for both sides, but, you know, battle through it.
How do you kind of prepare for those conditions? I know everyone talks about elevation, but there was more so wind that was kind of affecting the passing game downfield. Is that something that you just kind of have to go through during warm-ups, or like a gardener has to kind of feel it out, or how do you go about that?
Well, elevation I really don't count. You know, kind of either you're in shape or you're not. Your mouth dries out a little quicker there, but you know, what are we, 3,000 feet or a little over? So we're within striking distance anyway. And then I don't worry about that. I don't worry about snow. I don't worry about rain. The biggest nuisance is wind. And even though I don't really care for it when we're having practice, we do have the opportunity to practice in wind around here. So it's not like, you know, we're caught without any preparation if it winds, if the wind blows, because we do get to practice in wind. And if you're in a place that doesn't get wind, that's a problem, because you can't duplicate wind. You can duplicate a lot of things, but you can't do, you know, you can get the ball all wet for the rain thing. you know, snow's really not that big of a problem if the footing's good. You know, but you can't duplicate wind, and, you know, so, even though it's a nuisance, we do have the opportunity to practice in it. Now, this was swirling wind, not just a flat wind or a headwind. This was swirling wind, which was changing directions kind of constantly, and you can even see on film the ball do some funny things. Yeah, that's, I mean, you want to have a little wind, because you can't duplicate it if you don't. And then you play somebody that does, and you're screwed, you know.
Playing on natural grass an adjustment for you guys? I know you guys practice in Leach, and play games occasionally throughout the season on grass, but is that an adjustment you guys have to make? And
it didn't seem to be, and it's a different type of grasslands at Stanford, for example. It didn't seem to be, and we thought about that, because we have some grass fields out there on the back 40 behind the rec center that you know, we considered practicing at, but figured it wasn't worth the trouble, you know, that we were good.
Other questions for Coach in the room? Okay, questions on the phone line for Coach Leach.
Hi, Coach. This is, hello?
Go ahead, Nick.
This is Nick of AP. Can you talk a little bit about the total contributions of James Williams to this year's team? You know, what he's managed to accomplish overall?
I think he's done a good job. You know, the one thing about James that I think's pretty good is he can do everything you ask a running back to do. Rush the ball, catch the ball, and block. You know, in our offense, it's very important that he's able to do all three, and James can. James has done a good job making people miss when he's on space. You know, but good solid player, and I think his play and Max's play complement each other.
Other questions on the phone line for Coach?
All right,
Okay,
well,
back in the room. Any questions for Coach?
Mike, the one long catch and run by Dez, is that an example of what you're trying to get out of him?
Yeah, I actually thought that play kind of broke the game open. I know it wasn't a score, and a lot of times, you know, you feel like a score or something is what breaks it open. I really thought that kind of broke things open. Yeah, I hit Patman on a hitch, and you know, he ran up the sideline and shoved some people around as he went, and you know, but he's a kind of a strong, powerful guy, stronger than he realizes, as we've talked about. But he's getting better and better as he plays. So.
There were a handful of plays in that game where Gardner had all day,
Right.
and nothing came out of it. Well, was there a common denominator on those plays?
Well, I think there's sometimes it was really good coverage on their part. Sometimes, you know, and we did protect decent. Sometimes one guy'd get beat somewhere. I also thought, you know, he could have triggered a little quicker on some of them. You know, and again, conditions were tough because of the, you know, the wind and the communication. But you know, as good as he played, I don't think it's one of his best games. So.
Last year, Khalil Tate had a pretty productive day against you guys. What makes him dangerous to defend?
Well, well, first of all, I think our defensive plan is part of what made him dangerous. I think we had some self-inflicted wounds, but the other thing is I think that, you know, that he's good with his feet. He can throw and he can run both, you know, and then what they were doing offensively kind of set that up and complemented it. So now it's kind of a combination of both, but he's definitely dangerous with his feet, and then, you know, so, yeah, so it was tough that day, but, you know, none of that has anything to do with the
Is there an added stress facing like a mobile quarterback like Tate, or like what kind of?
Yeah, we've had some others, and he's a good example. We've had some others that are pretty mobile. The guy this week wasn't immobile. Got Cal, both of theirs are pretty mobile, So yeah, you have to tend to them, and then also it depends their inclination to run, and Tate will run a little more.
What